All right, guys, welcome to a very special episode of the Left Side View with Rahul and Amitabh. So, as promised, we are back with the Serie A review. And as we didn't really cover the Serie A matches in a previous review podcast, so we're going to talk exclusively about Serie A in this podcast. So, Amitabh.
Yeah, hi Rahul. Hello everyone. I hope you guys are doing well. Let's get right down to it. On Saturday, we had Sampdoria at home to Torino. Unfortunately, they lost this match 1-2, and there was actually the coach was sad after this match. There was a backlash after this match. Um, the in the other match, Salernitana lost to Lazio at home 3-0. Ciro Immobile scored a couple of goals. And finally, we had Juventus winning over Udinese 2-0 with Paulo Dybala and Weston McKennie scoring one goal each in the first and second half, respectively. So let's start off with the Sampdoria Torino game, Rahul.
Yes. So, again, another casualty in Serie A, a managerial casualty. Sampdoria's manager, Roberto Di Aversa, was sacked after this game. Now, there are rumors, in fact, not only rumors, in fact, it does look like it's going to come to fruition. Their former manager, Marco Giampaolo, the former AC Milan and Torino manager, is now going to join Sampdoria. And there are also rumors of Inter Milan's midfielder, Stefano Sensi, going to Sampdoria on loan till the end of the season. So I personally have a very high opinion of Stefano Sensi. It's only because of his injury concerns that he hasn't really done much better till now. Otherwise, I really thought that he would have become a regular for both Inter Milan as well as his country, Italy. But again, let's hope if he can recapture that form, that earned him a move initially to Inter Milan.
Yeah, moving on to the next game, pretty standard win for Lazio. The Salernitana team, they are at the bottom of the league. So I'm sure Lazio expected all 3 points out of this game. They still are eighth in the table, and I'm sure that they would be aiming a little higher at this stage of the league. But again, 3 points in the bank. Your views on the match, Rahul?
Well, again, nothing that you would not expect from a team like Lazio, a Maurizio Sarri team, away to the bottom place team in the league. Another brace from Ciro Immobile, and yeah, Manuel Lazzari scored the third goal. So yeah, I think um, not much to say about this game. I think it's something that we all expected from the game.
Yeah, moving on to Juventus's match. After their comeback win against Roma last week, again 3 points at home this time around. They got this over Udinese. Um, Again, they had a midweek match where they lost to Inter Milan in the Italiana. So back in the lead, and with the other fixtures, at least the AC Milan match, the result going their way. Slowly and steadily, I think Juventus are getting back into the top four reckoning. 3 points, well done to them. Views on the match now?
Yeah, like you said, that it's a game that Juventus, in a way, on paper, were the better side and was supposed to win. And Paulo Dybala scored. He scored against his favorite opponent, Udinese. He has not really scored as many goals against anyone else as he has against Udinese. But the thing that caught my eye was Paulo Dybala not really celebrating. I mean, we've talked about this before. I think um, his contract expires in the summer, but still no renewal announced. Now, I've heard rumors that initially there was an agreement on the contract on an extension of his contract in October, but since then, Juventus have actually taken that offer away from Dybala. So, not really sure what's going to happen. Is he going to stay on different terms? Maybe they'll now want him to stay on reduced salary, or if he's someone who doesn't really want to do that, he still wants more money. Is he going to push for a move away from the club? Because he's already 28. So uh, if he wants to move, now is the time. Because the older he's going to get, the more difficult it's going to be for someone like him to look for a move away, especially if he wants to continue to play at top level. Like I probably would say that. I mean, we all remember that. I think a couple of seasons ago, he was linked very strongly to Tottenham Hotspur as well. but obviously that didn't really materialize. Um, if he leaves, then I think like if it does really come to it, then my opinion would be for him to go to to club in Spain, or maybe we could see him join someone like Lionel Messi at PSG. But yeah, again, too soon to to talk about all of this. Again, Weston McKennie scored another goal. He scored against Inter Milan as well in Supercoppa Italiana in the midweek match. So yeah, slowly and gradually, even he is looking like someone who's adapting to the league, someone that the manager Allegri can count on. But again, there's just one more thing that I understand that you said, Amitabh, that they're getting back on track, but then they still have a long-term injury. They're still without Federico Chiesa for the entire season. So I still expect them to make at least uh, one more player in the attacking department. Not really sure if they can uh, last the whole season or the remaining season with Morata, Dybala, or Moise Kean. I mean, who hasn't really worked out. I mean, this guy was Ronaldo's replacement, so and he's not even starting in a way. So there are still so many
Yeah,
issues. Yeah.
there are still a couple of weeks before the January transfer window closes, and I'm sure there'll be a flurry of deals at the end of it
Yeah.
all. Not really, with a great value in
Hmm.
terms of the dollar spent, but definitely teams will be looking to sign players on loan. Coming back to Dybala, I think the ball is firmly in his court at 28 with no transfer fee. I think there will still be a lot of suitors for him if he does not sign the dotted line for Juventus. And maybe it is just a fact that Juventus got the cold feet. They did not want to, uh, you know, give Dybala a lot of cash because, as we all know, they are already cash strapped and
Hmm.
their finances have
Yeah.
not been
Yeah.
managed well. So let's see how this story turns out. Anything else on this match now?
Yes, actually. So not only the match, but again Juventus. So we've already heard rumors of Arthur being linked with Arsenal. Now the rumors are that Juventus will sign a midfielder. I mean, if they are able to find a replacement, only then they will allow someone like Arthur to leave the club. So we need to keep an eye on that player as well. Because yeah, it's an interesting time. Obviously, January is so yeah. We can move on from
Yeah.
this match, and Juventus is discussing.
Are they looking for a player swap deal or something in cash?
Uh,
Or is it
I,
just a loan deal right
I,
now?
I, I think it could be a loan deal, or maybe I think initially it will be a loan deal. If he performs well for Arsenal, maybe then they'll look to sign him on a permanent basis. But at this point in time, the idea is for Juventus to sign someone else, not like a swap player or a player from Arsenal, just another midfielder in general.
Okay, okay. Moving on to the games on Sunday. We start off with Sassuolo against Hellas Verona. Sassuolo lost this match at home 2-4. Barak scoring a hat trick for Verona. Um, Again, your boy Stamaka scored a goal in this match, Rahul. What do you have to say about it?
Oh yes, Skamaka scored. Not only did he score a goal, but he scored a wonderful goal, an overhead kick, like a bicycle kick. He scored. What a goal! So even though they lost, but he is again, he's continuing to raise his own stock. Like if a club comes for him, I think that with these performances, he can himself earn a great move to a bigger European club, or maybe to a better club or a bigger club in Italy, maybe to a club like Juventus for that matter. I mean, if Juventus are let's say not able to sign someone like Vlahovic, then maybe they can go for someone like Skamaka. Um, on top of that, obviously, there are two things to talk about. One, so Swallows, under their manager, they've got a great record for the past 2 3 seasons actually. Even under their previous manager Roberto De Servi and even the current manager, they do have a tendency of picking up important victories, important points in big games. Like they managed to beat Juventus away from home, and they managed to beat I think Atlanta as well. Sorry, AC Milan as well. Yeah, AC Milan away as well. So all these they are capable of doing that. But when they're playing against someone like Hellas Verona or anybody else, it's actually in those matches that they tend to drop points, which is what happened in this match. And uh, for Hellas Verona, we already talked about Salernitana. So Hellas Verona actually lost at home last weekend to Hellas Verona. Sorry, to Salernitana. So yes, I think they also needed a reaction, and Verona finally managed to get one here against a solo away from home. Yeah, I think anything else?
Moving on. Yeah, moving on. We see a 1-1 draw, Venezia against Empoli. Not really much to talk about here in this match.
Yeah.
Roma won at home against Cagliari. The Portuguese player Oliveira scored a 33rd minute penalty in this match. Again, I think after the performance last week by Roma, 3 points was worth its weight in gold. At such times in the season, it really doesn't matter how well you play or how well you perform. All that matters is 3 points in the bank. And again, it was such a you know such a in the manner of the defeat last time around. The whole team must have been crestfallen, and especially after the match. Jose saying what he did,
Mhm.
basically throwing the entire team under the bus. Um, this victory really shows a lot of character by the Roma team. So good on them. 3 points for them. Rahul?
So their captain actually, Lorenzo Pellegrini, he was actually supposed to start the match. So I think he pulled up, or maybe he got injured, or as a precaution, he was supposed to start the match, but before the match, like in the pre-match training, that's when he pulled up, and he was replaced by someone else in the starting lineup. And even if you take a look at the bench, I mean, there's just nobody there, nobody on the bench. There's Smodorov, and I guess there's just one more. Other than that, it's everyone who is an academy player. So yes, they still have a lot of injuries to contend with. On top of that, they don't really have a big squad. So I think Borja Mayoral, the Spanish striker, the third choice striker for Roma, he was not even in the squad. So I'm not really sure if that was because of injury or maybe Mourinho and Roma are looking to move him on. So that's another thing to talk about. Plus, uh, I'm not really sure what's happened to their first choice left back, the Italian left back who got injured. Uh, I'll tell you the name here. Their star left back. Spinazzola, yeah, Leonardo Spinazzola. So we heard rumors that Spinazzola, the injury that he got playing for Italy in the Euro 2020, that he was supposed to be back in November, but it's already January. So I'm not really sure what's happened to him. When is he going to be back? Uh, Other than that, I think Roma have actually again switched to a back four. So I'm not really sure if it's change in formation because of tactical reasons or because of not having enough personnel. Uh, so yeah, a lot of things to talk about, and that too without even talking about the game. So uh, Sergio Oliveira, the signing from Porto, 29-year-old midfielder, he started the game and scored on his debut, scored from the spot, and it did look like he was going to get injured. I think, uh, or he pulled his hamstring or something. He left the pitch, but then he came back. So yeah, no concerns for Roma fans here. But yes, with the squad that they have right now, it's just so threadbare that not really sure if they can continue with this squad and continue to perform well. Having said that, yes, it was again a 1-0 victory. So, like the matches, previous matches, wherein they dropped points in similar situations. For instance, in the game against Sampdoria, they drew 1-1. So even in this match, the longer it stayed 1-0, the more concerned I became that maybe there is still scope for Cagliari to score a late equalizer. Even Walter Mazzari was very critical of the performance of the referee. Um, on top of that, I think, but yeah, like we talked about earlier as well, that Roma needed to win this game. Simple as that. They needed to win this for Mourinho's sake. So I think eventually, yeah, even though they were able to get over the line in this match, but let's see if they can continue to do that. They still need signings, I think. And I hope that this is not the end of signings for Roma. It's like ANC Maitland-Niles and Sergio Oliveira. Oliveira permanent signing. Maitland-Niles on loan till the end of the season. So I'm not really sure how much of an impact or contribution he's going to make. But yes, they need more signings. I hope that they don't really wait till the end of the season to do that. Um, yeah, I think I've talked enough about Roma.
Yeah, again, just adding to what you said, I think Roma will be just happy to, get over the line this time around because, as we talked extensively last time too, at 70 minutes the game seemed done and dusted. And this again has been a problem with Roma. The team is definitely inexperienced, and I know it was a penalty kick, but still, fellow Portuguese came to help Jose. So good for them. Let's see how they perform in the coming weeks. Moving on, perhaps the game of the weekend in Serie A, Atalanta hosting the leaders Inter Milan. The match was a nil-nil draw, but it was not by any way a boring nil-nil draw. Both sides created a lot of chances. Somehow they could not manage to convert it. But now there are two sides to this coin. If you see it from the point of view of Atlanta, 1 point against the leaders, not a bad result, especially at home where their record has not been that great this season. And if you see it from Inter's point of view, they had a pretty tough match, a match that went to extra time in midweek against Juventus. And again, Atlanta have been flying high. They won 6-2 the last time around. So 1 point against them. And then if you add it, what happened on Monday, so I think both the teams will be happy with a point. Of course, they would have wanted to bag all three, but given the reality of the situation, I think a fair result and something that both the teams will be okay with for this weekend. Your views on this match, Rahul?
Yeah, like you mentioned earlier, this was the game. This was supposed to be the game of the weekend, not only in Serie A but I think across Europe. So yeah, even though there were no goals, but then I don't really think that that really mattered in this game. I think there were a lot of talking points. Atlanta are playing with the back four for a change. I'm not really sure if that's because again, like Roma, was it a tactical change or was it like because they didn't really have the personnel? I think I didn't really see any right back starting the match. It was, I think, Jim City playing as right back. Even though Zepa was on the bench. Uh, Other than that, we can talk about the fullbacks. Joachim Male, the Danish defender, I think maybe he's injured. Robin Gosens, who has been such a star performer for Atlanta, but has been out of action for almost 2-3 months now. So it was Giuseppe Pezzella starting at left back. Um, Other than that, I think yeah, Atlanta would be happier out of the two sides with a point, uh, because Atlanta, no matter how good they are, even though they're fourth in the table, but it's actually their away form, which is something that's out of this world. But when they're playing at home, they can be a little ordinary or a little patchy or a little inconsistent. So to get a point against Inter Milan, the league leaders, even though it's at home, I don't think it's a bad point. Similarly, Inter Milan would also be like okay with it because they played for 120 minutes against Juventus in the midweek match, Supercoppa Italiana. So I'm pretty sure that a lot of the players were a little uh, uh, in need of rest because of that match. I think Jacko had a horrible game. Even Bastoni didn't really cover himself in glory much. Um, Other than that, we could talk about the performance of the goalkeeper, the captain Samir Handanovic. I think 35, 36 years old now. And if rumors are to be believed, then already a replacement is lined up for him. Andre Onana, the Ajax goalkeeper, is supposed to join Inter Milan on the free in the summer. Maybe he was just making sure that he doesn't lose his spot. I think yeah, I think Atlanta still have a game in hand. I think Inter and Atlanta both have played 21 games. Milan and Napoli have played 22 games. So I mean, my favorites are still Inter Milan. Like I said at the beginning of the season, it, it's just difficult to look past Inter Milan. Not just because of how good they are, but also because of the experience that they have. On top of that, the depth, the strength and depth that they have in their squad.
Yeah, so yes, actually Inter Milan did sell Lukaku and a couple of the players, but they
Lukaku,
also bought.
Hakimi, Conte.
Yeah, yeah. So, but they also bought wisely, and the biggest thing is their coach Inzaghi has not tried to change a lot actually. So he has kept the basic the cohesion of the team and the strategy and the mental aspect of the psychological aspect of things. He has kept it stable. He has not tried to make drastic changes there. So yeah, Inter Milan look like a well-oiled machine.
Mhm.
Yeah, coming on to the matches that happened yesterday night, Bologna, who have actually lost 4 out of the 5 matches, they lost 0-2 to Napoli at home. Chucky Lozano scoring both the goals for Napoli. Now, special mention to the second goal because it was actually a wonderful team goal, around 5 or 6 touches, and they were on to Bologna's goalkeeper. And yeah, Chucky Lozano actually scored a great goal that one. Napoli have had their own share of challenges of late with respect to injury and COVID issues, and they have somehow come out of these fixtures in the new year. I mean, right from the new year, I think three matches. So they have come out with respectable scores, respectable results. So again, 3 points, important 3 points for them, especially with Milan losing. So anything else you'd like to add, Rahul?
I think yeah. On top of that, injuries and COVID, you have to also mention that African Cup of Nations, the star defender Khalid Koulibaly, he's still playing for Senegal, I think, or maybe he tested positive for COVID. But yeah, what I'm trying to say is that he's not playing for, or he's not available for Napoli at this point in time. But one good thing, one positive news for our Napoli fans is that Victor Osimhen was actually on the bench on this match, and he actually came on in the 71st minute. So he was also supposed to go and play for African Cup of Nations, but he actually tested positive for COVID, because of which uh, he wasn't really selected for his country. So yeah, good news for Napoli fans that he's going to stay and be a part of this difficult run of fixtures. Uh, so yeah, now that he was on the bench and he came off in the second half, I think from next game onward, maybe he can start and yeah, look to continue with his goal scoring form that he had prior to his getting injured. So let's see.
Yeah, now we move on to actually the shock of this week. AC Milan losing to Spezia at home at the San Siro. AC Milan actually took the lead through Liao at the far end of the first half. Arbudello scored for Spezia in the 64th minute, and finally Diassi scored in the 96th minute, extra time in the second half. Now, there were a couple of talking points. Hernandez missed a penalty after scoring a triple last time around. And I think Milan, a rule for them was called back by the referee for a foul after the ball had gone into the net. So, I mean, the referee blew the whistle maybe a second late before the shot was kicked. And yeah, so it definitely irritated the entire stadium. The whole Milan squad were up in arms. But that is how it is. And finally, again, in the extra time, the knockout punch. Milan did play well. They did create a lot of chances. But again, Spezia's goalkeeper played well as well. And yeah, they somehow held out and they won this match. Rahul?
I think there are so many talking about points about this game. So there is so much controversy about surrounding the referee. I think even Stefano Pioli said that the referee apologized to Milan for the refereeing that he did, for the results that he had to make. Even the penalty decision, I think, that eventually did go Milan's way, wherein Theo Hernandez actually missed a penalty. Scorer of 2 penalties, I think, last week, but he missed a penalty this weekend. In fact, there is like rumors, or I'm reading this news that an investigation is going to be take place, and this referee could actually miss 2 3, or he could actually face a lengthy ban. Like, that's how poor his performance was. I mean, obviously, if had this match been like, let's say, a Venezia or Spezia, then it would be okay. But then because it was AC Milan, so obviously it got a lot of traction as well. Other than that, yes, Thiago Motta, the former Inter Milan player, managing Spezia. So obviously maybe he still had a little bit of loyalty towards his club, the club that he won the Champions League with in 2012 under Jose Mourinho. So yes, maybe he would say this, like he said after the match, that Spezia deserved to win. And in the end, any team that wins a match, that wins 3 points, would say so. Yeah, uh, nothing to, like, they should sing about this result till eternity. But yes, a disappointing result, irrespective of the referee's performance for Milan. I think Milan were also without a few players, especially in defense. I think uh, Fikayo Tomori has actually undergone an injury. He's probably going to miss a month's worth of matches. Simon Kjaer, we already know, out for the rest of the season. Um, Other than that, I think just Gabiao, I think, who started, and then I think Pierre Kalulu was there, so a third choice or a second choice right back. So yes, they are missing numbers in terms of uh, defense. I think yeah, Romagnoli, I'm not really sure if he was there or not. So yeah, AC Milan already short of options at the back, which is why they are strongly actually being linked to centre half, especially in this transfer window. Even someone like maybe uh, Malang Sarr of Chelsea. So let's see. But yeah, maybe they needed this result. Maybe this will, you know, this way they can fast track the plans of signing a centre back.
Yeah. For the sake of Milan, let's hope so. Not Malang Sarr. No, no, not him. Maybe someone else. But yeah, at the end of the day, Chelsea comes first. But yeah, but you know what? I also have a point of view on this match. With so many teams, good teams there in Serie A, and we also have one of the a couple of those form teams that go through a season with certain crest and ebbs. So I think we will have at least one result every match week from now on. Something, twist and turns for the title race. Of course, AC Milan lost this time around. Maybe it will be some other team the next time.
Mm-hmm.
But yes, they did lose a winnable game. They should have won it. But in the grand scheme of things, I still think that, of course, Inter were clearly the favorites, but it will not dent their chances a lot. It will definitely be, something that will keep them, at least make them start thinking and whatever they can do in the next couple of weeks in terms of strengthening the squad.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, not a long-lasting impact of this result, at least as far as I can see.
Yeah. So, but then yeah, just one more thing here. So, Amitabh, like we mentioned earlier, when AC Milan were knocked out of the Champions League, like the fact that they're not in Europe at all. So we thought that maybe at least this way there could be a title race. But yeah, even though they're out of Europe, I still think, like, I just want to reiterate this point that maybe we got carried away a little because AC Milan got knocked out of the Champions League. So maybe now they can focus solely on the league. But I still don't think that. I think Inter Milan is still better, even though Milan don't have to play in Europe. I mean, maybe even Inter Milan could join them since they are playing Liverpool. But yeah, either
Yeah,
way,
yeah, yeah.
I don't really think
Yeah,
that's
see,
much of an advantage.
I think we still have 4 months of solid football left.
Yeah, yeah,
So, the forms can change
yeah,
every week. So, again, bad result for Milan, but okay, it's not the end of the world. That's just
yeah,
what we're trying to say for now.
yeah,
For now.
yeah.
Um, Moving on, high flying Fiorentina scored six. I'm sorry, past Genoa. Their coach Shevchenko was sacked over the weekend. And Vlahovic actually missed a penalty, so it could have been at least seven. Yeah, and their midfielder Biragi, he scored a couple of free kicks, and yeah, Odizzola, Bonaventura, Torreira were the other goal scorers. Vlahovic also got a goal. So 6-0 to Fiorentina. Views on the match, Rahul?
Well, yeah, I'm pretty sure that Shevchenko would be looking at this match and laughing his way to the bank. You know, obviously he's going to get a lot of money as well because of his sacking. But then that's not the end of the story. So I read today that the reason that they sacked Shevchenko is that they were supposed to bring in a German manager, Bruno Labbadia, but I think that move has collapsed. So which means that they're now going to bring in someone like Shevchenko back, someone that they just said. Yes, I just read this like an hour ago that the manager that they were supposed to bring in, they're not likely to bring that manager now. So now they're going to have to, let's say, call Shevchenko, can you come back? So I just want to be in the room to see that conversation, to hear that conversation. But yes,
I never fails to amaze me.
yeah,
Seriously.
yeah.
This can happen only in Italy. Believe me, I've followed football for so many years now. This can happen only in Italy.
Yeah.
Yeah, please go on.
Yeah. So, but then in a way, it's like that situation, not exactly, but a similar situation wherein Tottenham first went to Antonio Conte. He said no, and then they went again after they hired Nuno, and they had to sack Nuno. So yeah, now that Shevchenko, if this is actually true, and they now go back to Shevchenko, then Shevchenko will be in a much better position. He'll have so much leverage because obviously it's not really a good enough squad to compete. And on top of that, even we've talked about this constantly, the run of fixtures that they had. I'm not really sure. Maybe I mean, obviously, all the teams play each other, but then for some reason, for Genoa, it looked like all their difficult matches came together at the same time. So yeah, I mean, maybe if it was a Tenko, they still would have lost, but we can't really predict that. But yes, uh, the problem, like what I'm trying to say, is the problem is probably not the manager. Investment needs
So
to be.
my only question is, will he get the severance first and then he'll negotiate a new deal, or how will it go?
Yeah, maybe he'll ask for a raise.
Crazy, man, absolutely
Yeah,
crazy.
yeah.
So yeah, I mean, yes, Genoa have been on the wrong side of a lot of results quite recently, and yeah, I mean, again, a perfect time to play them, and similarly, not a great time to play the high-flying Fiorentina boys. So 6-0, pretty apt. That's the way it is. Anything else about
Uh,
the match,
um,
Rahul?
I mean, yeah, Fiorentina, they just keep riding high. Like they are on 35 points. They've still got a game in hand. So I think with Vlahovic, I think if they continue to do this, they've got a really exciting manager actually, Vincenzo Italiano, who's actually got a great record. So even when he was managing last season or before that, in second division or the third division of Serie A, the teams that he was managing, he actually took those teams. I don't really remember the name of the team, but the team that he was managing, it's like he took them to consecutive promotion. So if they were in the fourth division, then he took them to the third, from third to second. That's how. Yeah. So I think even Vlahovic is like the manager actually played a very important part in Vlahovic staying at Fiorentina. Otherwise, he obviously had options, chances to leave Fiorentina, and he still will because he only has his contract till the end of next season. But I mean, otherwise he could simply go to a club like Arsenal. And even after the goal that he scored against Genoa, he ran directly to the manager and he gave him a hug. So that's how much camaraderie there is between these guys. Plus, they've already made,
Yeah,
I think, a couple of fantastic signings. I think Nico Gonzalez at at the beginning of the season, and now Jonathan Ikone from Lille. So I'm pretty sure that it's not only about money or anything. It's just that Fiorentina have been very good under at least their new manager. Very good in terms of signings and running the club.
I think the biggest challenge for
Sorry,
Fiorentina now.
sorry to interrupt. Sorry. Yeah, the second
Yeah,
signing
yeah,
is Christoph Piontek. Yeah, Jonathan Ikone already
Piontek,
they
yeah.
signed two attackers.
Yeah. So what I was saying is the biggest challenge for Fiorentina now will be, expectations of themselves and of their spectators, their audience, of course. So again, as we have talked about quite a lot in our previous podcast, that it is an entirely separate thing to do well when the pressure is off. But now I think they have firmly established themselves in the reckoning for at least the top four. So now the pressure of doing it week in and week out, we have to wait and see how they perform and whether they are actually a contenders for the top four in the Serie A. Anything else, Rahul?
Actually, yeah. So this just made me realize or recall something. So I was watching the Juventus documentary some time ago, the Juventus All or Nothing documentary. So in that documentary, they talked about the rivalry between Juventus and Fiorentina. So mainly that rivalry started when Italy's iconic player, the divine ponytail, Roberto Baggio. He left Fiorentina to join Juventus. So I'm just thinking, what if Vlahovic does the same? Like he leaves Fiorentina and goes to Juventus.
Can Juventus afford him? My first question.
So they cannot afford him this season, but obviously, if he stays at Fiorentina for another season, then he will be available on a free. They can obviously sign him on a free.
Okay. Yeah, let's see. The charm of the Juventuses and the Bayern Munich of this world, the team that has been dominating the league is always there, and there is this innate desire of most Italians and Englishmen not to leave their country, even Spanish. So why discriminate? Not to leave their own country and try to be the part of the best team, at least in their country. So yeah, the possibilities are endless. But I don't know. I still think he'll come to the Premier League.
Okay.
I hope not Arsenal, but I think he'll come to the Premier League because he is a very viable substitute to Haaland. Right.
Yeah.
Everybody will not be able to afford a Haaland, and a lot of teams are on the lookout for a good striker. So let's see what happens.
Yeah.
I think that's it, Rahul.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you so much, guys, for your time today. That was our review of Serie A, the weekend matches for this week. Again, thanks to you so much. Take care.
All right,
Bye-bye.
guys. Thank you.